Why did RBC create the Emerging Artist Project? We deeply value the artists who inspire creativity and imagination, and who contribute to the fabric and strength of our communities. We seek to unlock the potential of emerging filmmakers, musicians, performers, visual artists, and writers by providing them with mentorship, exposure, and training so they can become the established artists they have worked so hard to be.
All right, hello everyone and welcome. I'm Callie Ramsey. I'm the Interim Executive Director at Onscreen Manitoba, and I will be your host for the 10th annual RBC $10,000 Emerging Filmmaker Pitch Competition at the Gimli Film Festival. First, we will begin by acknowledging that the Gimli Film Festival resides on Treaty 1 territory, the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe, Cree, Oji-Cree, Dakota, and Dene people, and the homeland of the Métis Nation. Given that the Gimli Film Festival is being hosted online, you may be tuning in from a different part of the country and therefore another ancestral territory. As a way to challenge the legacies of colonialism, consider acquainting yourself with the treaties, histories, and peoples of the land you're on. And in the pre-roll, Gimli listed out some resources, so they would be great places to start some of your exploration and learning if you haven't already. The 10th annual RBC $10,000 Emerging Filmmaker Pitch Competition is presented by RBC and the Gimli Film Festival with support from Onscreen Manitoba. Thank you also to William F. White International, who offer the annual pitch winner $5,000 in free services, and the National Screen Institute, who provide a year-long mentorship to the winner. New this year, the Winnipeg Film Group will also provide the winner with a free membership and $500 of free services. Onscreen Manitoba also provides all finalists with a one-year membership and a day pass to our annual industry forum, All Access 2022, which will take place in January. We have a few folks who would like to bring greetings on behalf of their organizations. First up, we have Naomi Kirschenblatt, RBC Commercial Account Manager for the Media and Entertainment Space in Winnipeg, who will bring greetings on behalf of RBC.
Hey, thank you, Callie. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome from wherever you may be joining us from today. I'm Naomi Kirschblatt, and as Callie mentioned, I am with RBC, and I am a commercial account manager for the media and entertainment space. I am delighted to welcome you on behalf of RBC to this year's 10th annual Emerging Filmmakers Pitch Competition. The longevity of this competition truly speaks to the prestige and opportunity that it offers. 10 years is an incredible accomplishment, and it simply would not be possible without Gimli Film Festival and On-Screen Manitoba and our partners, National Screen Institute and William F. White International. This is such a strong partnership, and a big thank you and congratulations to the whole team on a decade of helping Manitoba filmmakers make their ideas happen. Over the past 9 years, this competition has been an avenue for storytellers from across the spectrum to bring their diverse short stories to life. As an organization where inclusion and diversity is imperative to the success of our clients, colleagues, and community, RBC is a strong supporter and is proud of the equitable space that the RBC Emerging Filmmakers Pitch Competition provides, where creativity from all perspectives and from all corners of intersectional diversity can be shared, elevated, and celebrated. The expression, exploration, and examination of ideas by storytellers through film helps all of us as a global community learn, grow, and transform. This morning, we will have the chance to enjoy as our finalists draw us into their imaginations with their passionate pitches, while the jury has a tough job, as they do every year, in selecting one winner whose creative spark will be ignited. The winner will join an impressive group of alumni, including our 2020 winner, Joanne Roberts, whose film Anak will premiere here later in the program. Some of these alumni, our previous pitch competition winners, appear in a video retrospective of the competition to date. In this video, produced by Enjoy Creative, we hear about their experience, and they also have some advice for other emerging filmmakers.
Well, I remember just arriving on the Friday, got a complimentary ticket to the festival, so I was, enjoying the films, to keep my mind from being too anxious before the event. But at the back of my mind, it was always daunting pitch day.
In the rehearsal, I was flubbing my lines, like things I wanted to say in my pitch.
When I was watching backstage, people had trailers and proof of concept, so I was totally ready to sneak out the door with my family and hide my head in shame.
When the pitch actually came, I was very, very thankful that I took the time to just practice.
But then when it came time to the actual pitch, it just came so naturally. I don't know, it's probably one of the only times in my life when I actually felt really comfortable pitching.
You nailed it.
I nailed it, thank you.
And then they brought us all back and they were like, okay, so we're gonna announce who won. And when they announced that I won, they didn't even finish my whole name. They got to Sonia and the audience exploded with cheers and I started to cry because I didn't think I would win.
Oh, wow. Winning the competition that first year, it still kind of blows my mind. It's a bit surreal when I think about it sometimes.
The one word I would use to describe the entire experience would be exhilarating. I can finally make the project that I'm very, very excited about, and I can enjoy the rest of my time at Gimli without worrying.
This competition started 10 years ago, and it has just been a fantastic opportunity for emerging filmmakers in Manitoba to test their skills live on stage, telling us the stories that they would like to tell in film.
This competition is to allow Manitoba filmmakers the opportunity to bring their creations to life and ultimately could be a catalyst for their career.
I'm glad to say that I've been more involved of the film industry because of the RBC Fund.
It's one of the turning points in my career. Well, it was the start of my career, basically, and I don't think I would be where I am if it wasn't for that.
And up until that point, we had only created things for fun, for ourselves. We've made music videos, we made little tiny short films that were never meant for anyone to see other than ourselves.
It gave us a chance to actually jump in and to be filmmakers.
One of the things that's really interesting is that, it's a short film competition, so the variety of films and subjects is actually huge. We're really, with this competition, sitting on the edge of individual creativity and an opportunity to kind of test drive the industry itself.
Artists from across the spectrum have seen a lot of success in this competition, and that's where we want to see this go and continue. We want to make sure that the pitch competition is an equitable space, a place where there's diverse perspectives.
It's just such a great opportunity for emerging filmmakers to actually get like resources to make a short film. And I think that's great. And it's also very open and very welcoming.
I just spoke from the heart. I just spoke about why I wanted this idea, why it was important to me, who I was, and why everything I had experienced had led me to that moment.
Even if I were to have not won that year, I would, have gone out of that film festival, learning a whole lot about, what it's like to pitch in front of a live audience, how to handle that stress. And there's no reason why you shouldn't apply. There's no downside. And, if you become finalist, then you get experience. And if you win, then you win $10,000. There's no downside.
So over the next 10 years, we expect to see more change in the industry. One thing is certain though, in the future, RBC is going to continue to support our filmmakers and our emerging artists.
It's been an amazing 10 years, and I can't wait to see what the future will bring. I'm already looking forward to hearing the pitches from this year's 5 competitors and onward for the next 10 years.
You're good, Jen. And you're on mute.
I pressed it twice. I'm sorry. Okay, there had to be someone. The old lady with the tech issues. I'm sorry. I'll start over. Hello, everyone. I'm Jen Beasley. I'm the VP of Development at Buffalo Gal Pictures and also the co-chair of the On-Screen Manitoba Board of Directors. On behalf of my co-chair, Brandis Vivier, and On-Screen Manitoba, I want to welcome everyone to the 10th Annual RBC Emerging Filmmaker Pitch Competition. It's a mouthful. On-Screen is so proud to support this decade-long competition and to witness year after year the incredible talent on display in the Manitoba film community. As a member-driven organization, it is filmmakers such as yourselves who not only provide the inspiration for On-Screen's advocacy and support of its workforce, you're the reason On-Screen exists at all. We also recognize the support of RBC, William F. White, Gimli Film Festival, and the National Screen Institute. The support of community in lifting up its own voices is really invaluable and provides the launching pad for future success. As a development executive, I'm so heartened these days to see the appetite for and interest in diverse stories from across the country and how Manitoba is increasingly recognized as a hub of creativity. To all the pitch finalists, congratulations. I'm not jumping the gun or providing any spoilers by saying that you're all winners. The jury may determine a preference, but the initiative, the willingness to share your creative voice makes you all champions. In the Olympics, it's timely, happening right now. Scoring a perfect 10 is the best you can get. And this fantastic competition has provided emerging filmmakers 10 years of an amazing opportunity. So here's to another 10 years and beyond. Thank you.
Thanks, Jen. And on behalf of the Gimli Film Festival, I have a short little message I would like to say on their behalf. The Gimli Film Festival is so excited to celebrate the 10th anniversary of the RBC $10,000 Emerging Filmmaker Pitch Competition, the milestone of $100,000 distributed to a collection of some of Manitoba's finest emerging filmmakers is truly remarkable, as are the visionary films and diverse perspectives that come to life as part of this project. And now I will take just a few minutes and I will introduce our wonderful jurors. First up, we have Miranda Moroz. Miranda is a storyteller from Treaty 1 territory based in Winnipeg, Manitoba. She is a University of Winnipeg graduate with a Bachelor of Arts in Theatre and Film and has a background working for nonprofit organizations in arts and culture, managing projects including independent films, theatrical productions, and film festivals. Miranda is one of the producers behind the Manitoba Mystery Company, a nonprofit theater company producing local true crime stories from Manitoba's past. Miranda co-founded the IOU Video Festival and has been the festival director for the U Winnipeg Film Festival for the last 2 years and will return in 2021. As an artist, Miranda challenges social norms and conventions by testing the bounds of the human experience using elements of fantasy and folklore. And secondly, we have Jocelyn Mitchell. Jocelyn has been active in the film industry for nearly 20 years. She began her career as an intern at New Line Cinema in Los Angeles and Original Pictures and Frantic Films in Winnipeg, working on feature films, documentary, factual, and scripted series. Jocelyn has worked as a crew member, a development manager, and co-producer at Eagle Vision, produced the Healthy Living Awards Gala for the Refit Center, and joined Newman Films in 2011. At Newman Films, Jocelyn was a producer on the award-winning documentary Treading Water and was nominated for Canadian Screen Awards for seasons 1 and 2 of First Contact. Following that, she spent 2 years as project manager at Manitoba 150. Earlier this year, Jocelyn joined the Yes Winnipeg business development team at Economic Development Winnipeg, where she is responsible for supporting creative industries. And finally, our third juror is Ian Bawa. In 2007, Ian switched paths from becoming a lawyer to pursuing a career in filmmaking. He graduated from the University of Winnipeg Film Program. Ian's film career began with an internship in the lighting department. He then worked in every department a set can offer. This allowed Ian to learn, appreciate, and understand every aspect of filmmaking and become a Swiss Army knife of skills and knowledge when producing on and off set. Since then, Ian has produced, directed, and worked on a variety of other projects. Ian's films, The Champ, Imitations, and Tapeworm, premiered and won awards at prominent festivals. In 2020, his latest film, Strong Son, premiered at the 2020 Toronto International Film Festival, Vancouver International Film Festival, and the 2021 Aspen Shorts Fest, and has been optioned by Farpoint Films. And now, to the main event. We are following a similar format, hi Ian, to previous years. So if you've attended before, this will look fairly familiar, even if we're not in person this year. Each participant will have 3 minutes to pitch their project. Following the pitch, the jury will have 5 minutes to respond. They can ask questions, just get a better understanding of the projects and the pitches. Once we've heard from all 5 pitchers, the jury will head off to a Zoom room for deliberations. And while they're deliberating, the rest of us will have the opportunity to see last year's winning project. But the jurors aren't the only ones who will be picking a winner today. You, the audience, have the chance to vote for your favorite project. We'll give you voting instructions after we've heard all 5 pitchers for the Audience a Choice Award. So now I'm excited to introduce you to our very first pitcher of the day, Nish Joshi, who will be pitching his project, Nobody is Listening.
No matter how many external obstacles we face in our lives, they're nothing compared to the internal obstacles that we create within ourselves. And this story is exactly about that. Maya, who's praised by everyone in town for her musical talents. Music is everything to her. Because when she had nothing or nobody with her, she had music. She dreams of becoming the greatest pianist in the world, but soon finds out she's diagnosed with progressive hearing loss. When the doctor told Maya that she has progressive hearing loss and in a few months will go deaf, she gets scared. Scared for not knowing what's going to happen next. Scared for not knowing how she'll keep playing music. She's also more scared about what others will say or think about her. When she had nothing, she had music. And if that also like goes away, then what? Are people still gonna care about her? What if nobody listens to her anymore? She thinks of the worst possible outcome that could happen. When Maya leaves the hospital, as she's walking past people, she imagines them laughing at her, ignoring her. She gave her fears so much power that she started living them. No matter how, that's why people often say that the greatest limitation comes from within. But sometimes people also forget that the greatest strength also comes from within. And that is what I want to show people with this story. In the climax, when after a series of moments when Maya remembers, realizes, and understands why she started music in the first place and what music actually is, that's when she finds the courage to face her fears and start her journey to overcome her weaknesses. I want to show Maya authentic and relatable because in life, every single person has a weakness. And when people look at Maya, I want them to think, if she can do it, then why can't I? And I know I can make this relatable because this story is a reflection of my life that I'm turning into a musical roller coaster. And since this film is 5 minutes, every single scene, every single shot, every single beat, every single frame has to be dramatic, intense, emotional, beautiful. Not a second could go to waste. And I know that's going to be a challenge, but just like how everyone's taking on, but just like how this film is about taking on challenges, and just like how Maya has challenges, I also want to take on this challenge myself. So thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, Nish. I will now send it over to the jury for their 5 minutes of questions.
All right.
Okay. Good job, Nish. I really like the angle that you're taking with a disability that is like appearing later in someone's life and having to deal with the struggles that creates for someone. I think that is a very like interesting and new perspective that I would be interested to see in a film. I think something that I would encourage you to do, especially when pitching, is to just take a breath and slow down. I think like I could feel your excitement and nerves, and that's great, and it's okay. Yeah, I think one of the questions I had was for your vision of the look of the film. You talked about the pace and how quick like those dramatic scenes were going to be, but I was curious more about just filling in some of the blanks there about the style of the look of the film. Do you want maybe to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, for sure. So in the beginning, when like everything's like good, like she's being praised by everyone, and like she doesn't know yet like she has her hearing loss. That time the whole look of the film is like more colorful, like more musical type based. And then after, when she like finds out that she has like she's diagnosed with progressive hearing loss, her the look of the film starts to get a bit dark and like dull. And then in the climax, when she like finds the courage to like face her fears and everything like that, the colors come back slowly. But yeah, so that's my look of the film, how I imagine it.
Okay, thank you. Thanks.
Thank you.
Hey, come up. Hey, how's it going? Good job. Congrats. You talked for 3 minutes and it's good. It's hard, I know. So I think right away, right when you like kind of got into your story, it made me think of Sound of Metal. which is a recent movie that came out, which is not a bad thing because maybe this is your interpretation of the same story. That's not a big deal, but that definitely hit that, which is, I don't know if you were going that way, if you've seen that movie or know it exists. Okay, look into it then in that sense. So I think there's a couple, I think you touched on certain things, and I know 3 minutes, you gotta put it in a lot. Soundscapes, I wish you talked a bit more about. You did touch it, but I wish you had a bit more. And I think the big thing, which again, you touched on it and I'm still missing it, and maybe I'll keep it short, but how does this relate to you? Exactly, how is this a personal, how does it, I really just want to know, do you have this, just connect me to your personal life and the story and why you want to make this.
Yeah, so as a kid, I had a stutter, still do sometimes. So when I told people I want to be a storyteller and this and that, people thought it was impossible because storytelling, you have to talk to people and you have to narrate your stories and everything like that. So just like Maya, how she has a dream to become a musician, but has a weakness for her hearing loss. So that's how I connect with it. I feel that same as Maya, I felt like nobody was listening to me too, when I was young. But then after hard work and practices and stuff like that, I improved my speech, and yeah.
Cool.
That's all.
Thank you. I'll toss it to Jocelyn because we don't have a lot of time.
Good job. I know it's stressful being up here. I get nervous too, and I'm not even pitching. Very quick question. Have you got someone in mind for Maya? Is it going to be somebody who is a pianist, or how are you planning to handle that?
I don't have anyone else in Maya right now, but I'm looking to audition people for it. Yeah, and if she's a pianist, then it could be a bonus, a good thing. But if she can, then I could cheat with the camera and everything and make it work.
That's great, and I think that's time. Look at us, perfect.
Great job, dude.
Yeah, thank you, jurors, and good job, Nish. That was wonderful. And up next, we have Luke Whitmore, who will be bringing his project Burning Road.
Thank you. Gordon Weaver, a retired man, is informed by his doctor that he has only 8 months left to live. Soon after, Gordon meets with his financial advisor, where the news is equally bad. He'll surely die, but not in time for his wife, Alice, to receive compensation from Gordon's life insurance policy, which will lapse in 2 months. Sitting on the brink of poverty and dying quickly, he's desperately short on time and money. And reflecting in his bedroom, Gordon notices a little daub of light dancing on his closet door. Trapped in a situation he cannot control, Gordon plans to take his own life before the insurance policy lapses. Even though his wife, Alice, who's legally blind, would lose a partner, Gordon takes comfort in knowing he could provide financial support for her when he inevitably passes. That's when Gordon remembers the big cash reward for finding the missing teenager, Monica Yellner, from the wealthiest family in town. The reward is oddly equal to the value of his insurance policy. Is this a sign? And with only 2 months until his insurance policy expires, Gordon must race against a ticking clock to find Monica and collect the reward before his only other option is to take his own life. Gordon finds out that Monica was last spotted on Burning Road in the rustic country area where Gordon lives. He notes that she was last seen in her red high school hoodie. And for the most part, Gordon's search is fruitless until he spots a red article of clothing in the distance. Painfully exerting himself over rough terrain, he rushes to reach the article of clothing, where he discovers it's nothing but a dead end. Out of time, Gordon must follow through with his last resort. In his bedroom, Gordon steps into his walk-in closet, shutting the door behind him. This is the last time we see Gordon Weaver. But what we do see is the daub of light from earlier glimmering on the closet door. Following the source of the light out the bedroom window, we see a bright flicker from the distant tree line. Then we cut closer to reveal Monica Yellner in her red hoodie with the sun reflecting off her broken eyeglasses and projecting that daub of light onto Gordon's closet door. And so, although Gordon fails his mission to find Monica and gain precious time with Alice, the bleak silver lining is that Alice will receive the insurance payout. And in fact, the film is narrated by Alice, who recalls these events through her perspective. The narration subtracts the visual, focusing on the auditory clues in which Alice tries to piece together Gordon's actions, just as we, the viewers, do. Sometimes these observations are funny, sometimes they're chilling. But Alice is the beating heart of this story called Burning Road. Thank you.
Thank you, Luke. I will now hand it over to the jurors.
Thank you. So, Luke, I want to just, yeah, great job. I really love the strong style that you've chosen to go for with the reference images. I think like I can definitely see the mood coming through there. I guess I kind of just wanted to talk about your like budget plan a little bit. I don't know if that's a part that you guys have to hit on, but I wanted to just hear you talk a little bit about that. And
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a good question. So my budget for this film has been shaped for this $10,000 grant. Right now it's sitting at $15,000, but this is also in addition to equipment rentals and a 10% contingency. 2/3 of the $10,000 budget is allocated to, the cast, crew during production and post-production. In addition to this, the other portion covers location rentals, permits, catering, travel, some of those additional miscellaneous things, and obviously the rentals from the William F. White certificate.
Awesome. Yeah, that gives me a really good idea. Yeah, great.
Thanks.
I'll hand it off to Ian.
Good job. Congrats. I got to say that. Otherwise, how would you know? Good job. I think my thing, there's a lot in there. And it sounds like good, and the pictures really helped. I'm assuming, very quick question, are you going to shoot it all in black and white?
Oh, I'm glad you asked that, because no, I will not shoot it in black and white, but I'm leaving it open to possibly be in the color grade as a black and white version. I did intentionally put it in black and white for that reason. The mood is very dreary, very bleak, sort of if you're familiar with a Roy Anderson-esque feel a little bit. So that's something that I am thinking about. I will shoot in color though, and make that decision in post. Yeah.
Very, very quickly, could you touch on what is the theme of this thing? Because is it about dying? Like, I was trying to figure out what you're trying to hit on, and that's something like good to even say in your pitch sometimes. Like, what is this theme of this entire story?
That's a really good question. Yeah, I'm glad you asked that, because the themes of the story are, love, survival, selflessness, life and death. Nothing to do necessarily with suicide, for that matter, because this isn't a story of someone who wants to take their life. It's someone about who doesn't have a choice due to the way the government support system is set up for elder care.
Great.
So that's sort of the idea behind that. Yeah, for the themes.
Thank you. I'll toss it to Jocelyn.
What, great job, of course. What inspired this? What was the genesis of this story? What brought you to want to tell this story, and why now?
Yeah, no, that's a good question, because I think it's a compelling story that touches on reality. I got this because both my parents were in the financial sector. My dad is actually a financial advisor who sells insurance, and I've heard many sad stories growing up of financial hardship in which elderly population find themselves in. I mean, there are many seniors living in an impoverished world these days, and I don't actually think many people know how bad it really is. Elders who don't have a good work pension find themselves with many lifestyle limitations due to poorly designed, like the poorly designed old age security system and Canadian pension plan. So many of these elders don't have much of a quality lifestyle through government support, and the support given is really only based around just enough to get by. So as much of the story is fiction, it actually, the seed of the story is centered around hundreds of thousands of true stories from elderly Canadians who find themselves in difficult situations. And this story spawned from a conversation with my dad, and he was sort of breaking it down to me, saying, and I found it a bit odd that someone could put so much, thousands of dollars over the years into an insurance policy, and even if the policy lapses only a few months before they are going to pass away from an illness, they don't get to see any of that money. So I thought this is an idea that is actually a bit untold, and I think it is a story that needs to be told about retirement finances and their family and health. Sorry, that was a bit long.
No, that was good. And I just have one quick question before we get cut off, and I'm sorry if you mentioned this, but how long is the film?
Yeah, so the film is set to be 5 minutes. Currently using the narration aspect of it is it says time's up, but it'll be 5 minutes long. Sorry.
That's great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Luke.
Yep.
Yeah, thank you, Luke. That was great. And now we will go to our third pitcher, Laina Brown, who will talk about her project, Wallpaper Woman.
Sometimes the most revolutionary thing you can do is exist in a space where there is nobody like you. For me, navigating a film profession as a woman has made me question my place and belonging in it all. Film crews are still one of the most male-dominated industries, but learning about the long history of women's fight for equality has helped me understand the current barriers that exist in my own personal journey. This is what our main character, Nicole, is about to discuss with an unexpected visitor. Nicole has moved to the city to continue her ambitions to be a cinematographer, but she's not brave enough to say her dream out loud. She's moved into an apartment that is wall-to-wall 1960s wallpaper. The loud and proud maximalist aesthetic is not what she's going for, so she begins to refurbish. The room is a work in progress similar to her personal state. Nicole wants a minimalist look, the popular millennial choice. As she embarks on de-aging and modernizing her walls, her reno takes a phantasmic twist. Nicole reaches up to grab one of the corners of the wallpaper and she falls off her stool, ripping a massive section, and she hears a voice. "What are you doing to my apartment?" Nicole hurls a paintbrush across the room towards the voice, and it passes through the head of a woman sitting in a chair, smoking, not 10 feet from her. This woman is dressed in 1960s print attire. This is some kind of 1960s ghost. In fact, she's a spirit from the apartment come to life. The apparition is a bold and colorful character like the wallpaper, self-assured, full of opinions, and she doesn't like Nicole's taste in decorating. Nicole and the apparition engage in a critical conversation about decor, 1960s feminism, and Nicole's own crisis to find her identity. The apparition strikes a chord when she points out Nicole's fatal flaw, attempting to self-actualize without the ability to say what she really wants from her career. She can't even name the microaggressions she's been experiencing for what they really are. The apparition is surprised by Nicole's apparent immaturity. Nicole furiously rips a large section of wallpaper and the apparition begins to fade. Nicole recognizes that her own act of violence is a reaction to the truth. In the end, their exchange of ideas leaves them both able to confront their realities and surrealities. Nicole asks, "But what if I just can't make it?" But the wallpaper woman has vanished. The film ends with a shot of the refurbished room, one wall with the original paper, decorated with items that represent Nicole's own identity and hopes. So this story is dialogue heavy with a strong visual metaphor. So for funding and for budget, I want to prioritize a production designer and a co-writer to help make the dialogue meaningful and succinct. I have made passion projects with the most amazing local crew, and this would help me to enable me to pay back that community for their extraordinary professional work and talent. I've been holding this idea inside of myself for years, and I'm ready to make it into a film. And I think it's a story that many can latch onto as new feminists continue to search for encouragement and understanding of their own place in history. Thank you.
Thank you, Laina. That was great. And I will hand it off to the jurors.
All right. Good job, Laina. I'm going to start saying that now. Everyone, good job. I think it's a really timely story. It's a really important story for women. I think I'm going to ask a question that I think we're all wondering, which is how technically are you going to construct that apparition?
Mm-hmm. So I do want
for that.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's good. I do want the woman to be a physical person in the space. I think that when we first see the paintbrush or item thrown at her and it goes through her head, that will be one of the key moments that we'll know that she's an apparition. So I don't want her to be kind of like a ghost the whole time, but an actual physical presence. And then just shoot it with a plate in the background so that when you throw it, you can combine those in VFX. I think the first time we see that paintbrush being thrown her is an important moment for that. And then also when the wallpaper is being torn off in that kind of climax moment, and we see some of her fade a little bit. So those two shots, I just imagine being two shots put together in post with a VFX aspect to it.
Okay, cool. Thank you. I'll hand it over to Ian.
I'll actually toss it to Jocelyn. I'm just kind of working something in my head, but I'll toss it to Jocelyn if she's okay with that.
Yeah, for sure. I have a lot of questions going around in my head too, and you've already answered the first one, but I guess I'll just start with a real big, broad question. What do you think is going to be the biggest challenge in making this? Because it's ambitious on the production design side. As you mentioned, it is quite dialogue heavy. So, having something for people to watch while the dialogue is happening. What's your biggest challenge, do you think?
That's a good question. I do think that my budget is prioritizing the things I see as the biggest challenges. And for me, I am a shooter. So I do videography. So I have lots of ideas of what I want things to look like. And I want the metaphor to be drawing us in a lot of the time. But I do think that, having the dialogue be succinct and really meaningful in the time given is going to be important for me to tap into a writer and maybe a comedian to help me make that really effective. So time and money spent on that is important for me to overcome that challenge. And then, yes, production design. That's the thing, is finding the right space and then having somebody come alongside me to help make that physical space a reality and keep it decade proper. And I think those are probably my two big ones that I'm thinking about. I'm not too worried about making it visually engaging for people during a dialogue scene. There's a couple moments there that there's going to be some action happening, but I do want the shots to really be constructed in a way that makes you think about the surrounding environment and the space as giving more background and insight into the dialogue that's happening between them.
That's great answer. Ian, have you got a question?
Yeah, thank you. Great job, I gotta say it. Or what if I don't? You'll hate me. I think the thing I'm struggling is because I have a hard time connecting with the stories that are like two people in a room and they just talk. And sometimes it's hard for me to just get there. And not to say there's some I like, there's some, but they're harder for me. So I think for me, because you have so much in there and it sounds really good. And visually it's all there. Like I see it. I see what you're going for. I think you nailed that part of it. I think I'm just and I know it hasn't been written, I'm assumingly, because there's so much in there and you have this character who has so many problems, how are you going to make me care about this lead character in 5 minutes? That's the thing I'm struggling with. I know it's a kind of a hard question to even answer very shortly, but do your best.
So the reason why I want to tell the story is because this lead character is from myself and my own experiences. And I can pull from my own literal experiences of being the only woman on a crew of 20 to 30 people. Mm-hmm. And those little moments and those little things of what has made me question or made me feel anxious or made me feel stressed and that I haven't been able to really process at the time. I think those nuances I can talk about quickly in a film because of my experience with them. I think also by having other people put input into this isn't just going to be a project by myself, but have a writer and a community of people who are just helping me prepare for this pitch and practice with them to help me to refine, okay, what part of this are you latching onto? What actually is communicating my own experience well, and what do I need to work on more, and giving myself time to really arrive at that and find those things that draw people in so they can empathize with that main character.
Cool. Thank you. Great job.
Thank you.
Great answer. I know that was a tough one to like get in there, but time's up. Look at that. Time is up.
No, man. Not so.
All right. Thank you, Laina, and thank you to the jurors. And up next, we have Elena Sturk Lussier with her project Stay. Oh, you might be on mute still, Elena.
Sorry. Thanks, Callie. Let me start over. Stay is a 5-minute coming-of-age drama about a 17-year-old boy who's trying to do the right thing by assuming responsibility for his pregnant girlfriend, but he feels pulled in 2 directions, staying or leaving. The film starts with the two arriving at a highway motel at dusk. The boy is at the wheel of his father's pickup truck. The girl is 5 months pregnant and chats excitedly about what awaits them the following day at the oil rig, where the boy's father has secured him a job. The boy is quiet, and it seems like everything the girl does gets on his nerves. They check into the motel where the teenage receptionist makes eyes with the boy. While the girl relaxes in the room, the boy goes to the motel bar where he forces himself to drink a beer. The receptionist soon joins him, and they quickly hit it off. Flirtation ensues. She wiggles her way through the cracks of his resolve until he finally admits he doesn't want this baby. While he likes the idea of being a man, the reality of what's to come is arriving at an all too rapid pace. The receptionist personifies the temptation of what his life could have been like if he didn't get the girl pregnant. Just as they're about to kiss, the boy abruptly leaves. He gets into his pickup truck, turns on the motor, and he just sits there, letting the motor run. Credits roll, and the motor keeps running. Hi, my name is Elena. I'm an emerging Franco-Manitoban screenwriter and filmmaker from St. Boniface. Stay is an adaptation of a short story I wrote a few years ago while getting my master's in creative writing. I think it would make a fantastic short film because it's about a small moment in time where the stakes are extremely high. The boy's decision will affect the rest of his and the girl's life. The film is set in 4 locations in and around a motel. It has a 3-person cast plus a few background performers. Principal photography is estimated to be 3 12-hour days. As this film is set in the evening, I really want to explore and play with lighting and create this Truman Capote soaked in neon kind of aesthetic. I recently completed an 8-minute film on a $5,000 budget, and I think this would be a great next step in my career. I worked with a great crew, Jesse DeRoquigny, Quan Long, and Karen Remoto, and I'd love to work with them again on this. I'm also really looking forward to working with new people from different departments that I didn't get to work with on my first short because of budget constraints. I'm committed to having a diverse casting crew, and it's also important to me to cast age-appropriate actors to play these teenagers so that we're more sympathetic to their story. Even though we might not all relate to what it's like to fall pregnant as a teenager, we can all relate to the precipice that is entering adulthood. I think it's the reason why so many of us like high school movies, because we wish we could live through those years again. At its core, Stay is about a boy who wants to stay in that teenage phase of his life just a little bit longer, and he resents the fact that he needs to put it behind him. Thank you.
Thank you, Elena. And I will hand it over to the jurors now.
Was that too fast? I'm so sorry.
No, it was great.
That was great.
Okay. There's a lot of Ryan Gosling in my visual treatment. It wasn't intentional.
Yeah, as good as that was exactly the thing I was thinking.
He's in a lot of moody films.
I'm still thinking, so if someone else wants to start for a sec.
I can jump in there.
Sure.
I was curious about what drew you to wanting to tell a story about this particular moment and why you chose to tell it from the boy's point of view versus the girl's point of view.
I'm generally really interested in themes of masculinity and toxic masculinity. And I think as a woman director, I can give the story a lot more nuance. I think generally, I also really like creating stories that, you don't finish a film and you're like, oh, that was nice. I want people to watch my film and I wanted to create a conversation. I want them to talk about it. And I'm not really interested in always having like super sympathetic characters, for example. Like I want to make all 3 characters sympathetic in their own way, but I wanted to create a conversation.
Great, that's a really strong answer. Thank you.
I can go.
Sure.
Yeah. Great job. Honestly, like you kind of nailed like one of my big thing with pitches is like give me the first like the genre, how long, the name, blah. And you do that in the first 20 seconds, and you did that. Thank you, because that disappears all the other questions I have. And then you went into budget. You said you were fast. That was actually the right like type of speed I like when I hear pitches. And you got through the budget stuff. So great job. My question is just based on the short story and like where did that come from? Because obviously, and why bring it out now? Like is kind of it,
Good question. I was trying to remember actually. I don't remember how the story came about. I think I just had this image. The story actually, the girl wasn't pregnant, they had a baby, but I won't shoot with a baby. So I just decided to make her pregnant. So I think it started with an image of a teenage boy, teenage girl, and a baby, and they both look way too young to have a kid, and they just show up at this highway motel in the middle of nowhere. So that's kind of where it started. And why now? I mean, I guess people were like, you should apply for this. And I was like, I don't have enough time to write something new. And I was kind of going through like my catalog of stories, and I found this one again. I was like, oh, I remember writing this and thinking it would make a really good short film. So here we are.
Cool. Thank you. That was great.
Yeah, I think you did a really good job. I'll echo Ian's statement about the pacing. I think that was really well timed. I think they kind of touched on similar questions that I kind of was wondering about already, but I guess my question for you would be like, with you tackling themes of toxic masculinity and unsympathetic characters for that point, what do you see as like the biggest challenge in doing so? And how are you going to tackle that?
The biggest challenge with tackling toxic masculinity as a
or
theme?
the specific theme that you're aiming towards tackling?
I think there's different ways that this film could be portrayed depending on who's directing it. So I think if you wanted to portray the boy as a sympathetic character, then you'd probably have the girl be an inconvenience and the receptionist being like this sexy temptress. But I don't want it to be like that. I want all three characters to be sympathetic in their own way, and that it creates a conversation. And I suppose I will also consult with men about this.
Yeah, no, that answered my question. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Because we have some time, I'll quickly say, I'll just a little bit of feedback. I sometimes find your stills are really good. I think maybe in the future rethink also, because like Blue Valentines and all the movies you chose, favorite movies, love those movies. Blue Valentine, I know that movie very well. I love that movie. Using so many of them in the beginning made me almost like connect to it too much, where I was like, what is your movie? Is it just Blue Valentine? So like just be careful of that in the future, where it's like mix it up a little bit, because I'm right away like, oh hell yeah, I love Blue Valentine. Wait, is she making Blue Valentine? So like, just keep wary of that. But otherwise, really good job, like sincerely.
Good, thank you so much.
Excellent. Thank you, Elena, and thank you to the jury. And now we are on to our fifth and final pitcher, Stephen Bignell, with his project, The Tomahawk.
Hey, hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, my name is Stephen Bignell. I'm from the Pasqua Cree Nation. I'm an independent filmmaker. This is my pitch. It's called The Tomahawk. The Tomahawk is set in World War II, in the winter of 1945. It's about this Cree indigenous soldier, battle-hardened soldier. He comes across this young teenager boy, German soldier, who is inexperienced, doesn't want to fight. He's also a deserter. So one day he comes across him and he takes him prisoner. He doesn't shoot him at all. and he feels passion for him because he's just a kid. He's a child who doesn't want to fight. So he takes him prisoner. So that evening, his name is the character's name is Paul. Paul is the indigenous soldier, and he meets Diedrich. Diedrich is the young boy. So one evening they come together by a fire, and Paul reveals himself as an indigenous person. Diedrich is fascinated by him because he's only read about Native people through history books. So he's very fascinated that he comes across a real, actual Native person. So that evening, Paul gives him his story, where he's from, his culture, his traditions. So he's gives him this small talk one evening. The next day, he lets him go, feels passionate for him because he's just a child. So he lets him go. Later that day, Paul walks into a squad of German soldiers who's looking for the deserter. So knowing he's low on ammo, the only thing he has is his tomahawk, his only weapon. So he makes his one last stand. He goes out in a blaze of glory, knowing that he's gonna die. So, ending scene, he has his vision of his wife. His wife's name is Mary, but little did he know that his wife has passed away already. So he has this vision of his wife coming towards him and tells him to let go, come home now. So that's my pitch today, and that's my story.
All right, thank you, Stephen, and we'll hand this over to the jury for their questions.
All right, good job. The first question I thought of was, I don't know if you mentioned what specific time period that this is set in. Could you elaborate on that? And if it is a period piece, how are you planning to, in terms of costumes, production design, and things, like what's your plan for that?
It's set in World War II.
Okay, sorry.
World War II, the latter days of World War II.
Okay.
Already, we got the army gear done. We got the army gear for the Canadian soldier and German infantry. We got those done. It's already been made already. It's done. It's those things already set to the side for now. I already got the props made, the rifle props. I made the homemade rifle props to actually look authentic. The costumes, not the costume, army gear is already set. Yeah, I'm pretty excited for this.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Just from your answer from Miranda's question, like, were you like, are you already funded for this? Like, do you have money for this already? Because it sounds like you have a lot of stuff ready to go. Like,
no, I don't have the fundings right now. Okay. I'm broke.
Okay. You had so much already, so I just wanted to see where you're at.
I already did. Okay, the Gimli Film Festival selected my small World War II movie, My Son, My Father, and that was made this past spring. So what you see there is what I have right now. It's everything is authentic. The costumes, the army gear. I already have those things. It took me a while to get them. So it's just waiting. I don't have the money. I don't have the funds.
No. I just wanted to double check because you seem so prepared already. I was just like I was kind of curious. Great job. I was curious just from looking at this. Is this a winter shoot? Or is it a summer shoot, or what's the situation there? It looked like winterish based on storyboard.
Yeah, usually I'm setting this during the winter, the latter days of winter, 1945, because the war ended in April, I believe, or something like that. So it's the latter days of World War II before it's over.
Right. It's pretty ambitious for winter and time period and everything. I'm just like, have you factored in like all the budgeting and everything? Like, have you figured that side up? You know, like, can you give me a little bit of context there?
Budgeting, yeah. I believe most of the budget will go to the film sets of the films. There's we got a small crew ready on standby. If it goes well, you know, this will be great. This will be great. With a small crew we have, it's fun. You like doing this thing. Located here in northern Manitoba, of course it's going to be winter. It's cold, but we compromise. We do stuff. We get the ball rolling. In other words.
Gotcha. I'll hand it to Jocelyn since we have a short time.
Great job. I'm going to ask my favorite question, which is what inspired you to pitch this to us, and what excites you about it the most?
What inspired me was like, I'm a movie buff. I love movies. I love all kinds of genre of movies, especially World War II movies. I'm so interested in movies like that. Mostly the dramatic side of storytelling with two people. What was your other question again?
What are you most excited about with making this film?
Oh, I just have a passion of doing something like this, doing some films, even short films, short 5-minute films or 10-minute films. I have a passion of doing something like that. That's always been with me. I enjoy making these things, and it's a nice feeling. In other words, to do something different, to hopefully inspire my community as well, to doing some more films. Yes.
That's great, and I think we're at time right now, and everybody did such a great job today. I'm excited to go to our Zoom room and chat further amongst ourselves.
Yeah, thanks, Stephen. That was great. Great job, everyone, too.
Yes, thank you, Stephen. Thank you to the jurors for their insightful questions for each of the 5 pitchers. And congratulations to all 5 of you. You did such a wonderful job. It takes such courage and guts to get up here and pitch your passion, pitch your life in front of a large audience. So congratulations to you all. So now, as the jury heads off for their deliberations, the next time we see Miranda, Jocelyn, and Ian, they will have chosen the next winner of the 10th annual RBC $10,000 Emerging Filmmaker Pitch Competition. So if you're watching from home, now is the time to go vote for the Audience Choice Award. If you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, please head over to the Gimli Film Festival website, which is gimlifilm.com, to vote. Scroll down to below the video and vote for your favorite picture using the Google form provided. You must be logged into a Google or a Gmail account to vote, and this ensures that people can only vote one time. The pitch finalist with the most audience votes will win the Audience Choice bragging rights and a Gimli Film Festival merchandise prize pack. And so while the jury is off, we will get to meet last year's RBC $10,000 Emerging Filmmaker Pitch Competition winner, Joanne Roberts, and we'll get to watch her film. So first, I would like Joanne to come up on my virtual stage with me, and we can ask her a couple of questions. So congratulations again on your win last year. And if you could just introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about you.
Yes, my name is Joanne Roberts. I'm a filmmaker, writer, and actor here in Winnipeg. Over the last year, I've spent quite a few months working on my Gimli film. It's called Anak, and it's about familial dynamics in Filipino households. I find that there's always, not always, but very usually a strain between parents and children for cultural reasons, for intergenerational trauma reasons. And this film explores 2 women, a mother and daughter, who really struggle to connect, and they just can't. And so the daughter is really wrestling with the decision to continue her cultural duty to take care of her mother as her mother gets older, or to break ties with her family and potentially lose everything.
Wow. And can you tell us sort of your process about coming up with the idea and what inspired you to make this film?
As I've been connecting with members of the Filipino community, I realized that my story it's not a rare occurrence. We have strained relationships in all facets, and I really wanted to explore that. I wanted to speak to more people, connect with other artists, and showcase this dynamic that I don't really get to see in mainstream media. And I think that was the inspiration to share, and for people who are like me, who haven't perhaps connected with as many people from the Filipino community, to know that they aren't alone in their struggle, and there is support out there.
Mm-hmm. Great. And I will note that you have been very busy over the past year since your win. Every time it seems like I go on the internet, there your little face pops up on the CBC Creator Network or the Theatre Projects Manitoba newsletter. You've been everywhere. So can you let everyone else know what you've been up to and some of the other projects you've been working on?
Absolutely. I actually met Robin Summerfield from CBC Creator Network through this competition. She was on the jury last year, so I was so grateful to be able to foster that relationship. I've released a short film about shadeism in the Filipino community, and right now we're in the middle of releasing a series based off of that. It's called I Am, and it features different members right now of the Filipino community sharing personal stories and experiences that I think are relatable throughout Filipino culture, but also it's very cross-cultural as well. So that's in the middle of being released. The first episode is already out. Just this morning, I released a piece with Creator Network as well about inclusivity in our film industry here in Winnipeg. And I'm really proud to be advocating for a more inclusive and diverse environment. And some more secret projects in the works, which I wish I could tell you more about, but can't. So I don't know, I guess we'll keep posted.
Well, I'll just have to set our Google alerts then, so when Joanne Roberts pops up, we'll see your new projects.
I didn't do that.
Okay, well, thank you, Joanne. I will have some more questions that maybe will be best addressed after your film, after we've all got a chance to look at it. And I just wanted to remind the audience that you can get your votes in for the Audience Choice winner, and the voting will close at the end of Joanne's film. And as you're watching the film or afterwards, if you have any questions, you can enter those using the chat functions on YouTube or Facebook, and those will get filtered to me, and we can pass those on to Joanne to answer. And Scott, if we're ready for the film, I think we can go ahead.
Go to your room.
But I don't want to.
I know, darling. But remember, I love you.
I love you too.
Mia! 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 I brought you food. Mia, your food is getting cold.
Too slow. Now it's in the fridge. You can have it tomorrow now. Go clean up. You didn't hear me? You were too late. Now go clean your mess. I brought you food. Enough. Mia. I bought you something. You'll like it. What? What? Are you mad? Why? I forgot it was today. I was busy. I don't need therapy. I'm not crazy. Just go by yourself. Maybe you're the one that needs it. Maybe you're crazy. Crazy. Mia! 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 Anak! Anak! Not talking to me again? You're such a bad daughter. So ungrateful. No one else I know has such a disrespectful Anak. You're 29 years old. When are you going to grow up and start taking care of yourself? You can't. I do everything for you. I buy you clothes. I buy you food. I even put up with you being so crazy. How do you think it looks to have a daughter who goes to therapy? That takes crazy pills. You are so lucky to have me. You're so lucky.
Ma.
Congratulations. That was wonderful.
Thank you. That was a surreal experience.
So I was just going to ask you, like, how does it feel to finally have your project out there? I know it's not quite the same as being in the Gimli theaters with a couple of hundred other people, but there's still many people out there watching it for the first time with you.
It like I said, it feels surreal. This is my first narrative short film that I got to really build from the ground up, and I'm really happy with what I did. I hope that other people can connect with it, and I'm looking forward to seeing what discussion this sparks.
Great. And can you talk a little bit about your filmmaking process? Did you have any big challenges when you're shooting or any surprises that came up?
The big thing, which I think a lot of people this year can relate to, is COVID. So we were meant to shoot in, I believe, early November, and then the late October shutdown just completely took us, I mean, not by surprise, but it really kind of swept us off our feet. So we put everything on hold until March. But it was interesting because we were so far in the pre-production process that we were able to just literally put pause on it and then pick it up right as soon as we could start filming again. So that was an unforeseen issue, but yeah, I think all of us are really good at navigating through it by now.
Yes, for sure. And I noticed in your credits that you also had a very diverse cast and crew, and you mentioned that earlier in the preamble about how advocating for diversity on set is important to you. Can you talk a little bit about that, some of the things that you're doing to ensure diversity and equity in your projects?
Yeah, so it was really important to me to have a cast that was truly rooted into the story that I wanted to tell. So I have 4 very lovely Asian actresses that came on and played the roles very well. I'm so happy with what they did. But it was also very important for me that behind the scenes, we had a lot of representation as well. So as I was going through this year, I learned that if we're truly producing diverse content, that it's only natural that both the cast and the crew would be diverse as well. So I looked just like the actors for people that could share not only their expertise, but their experiences and their perspective. So I like to think that the entire process was very collaborative, and I very heavily relied on the people that I work with. I honestly think that I didn't need to be there on the day of shooting because everyone was so on point and so ready, and we were all on the same page. It was magical. And I don't know that I'll ever be able to replicate that sort of feeling on set. And the same goes with the pre-production and post-production team. It was just such a dream to work with. And it was really lovely being surrounded by emerging artists, by people of color, by people who really understand what oppression looks like. And we all sort of banded together and made this film. So I hope that everyone liked it.
Yes, it was wonderful. It was very beautiful. And what's next for Anak? Do you have any plans to get it out into other festivals or?
Yeah, we have some festivals in mind. Unfortunately, we missed the deadline for a lot of them this year, but we'll be back next year. And I might have some exciting news to share later in terms of potentially using this as a proof of concept video to turn it into something else. So yeah, there are definitely more plans for this, for sure.
That's great. And your film tackles the theme of around like difficult relationships, including those who are supposed to be close to you. Can you talk about this theme and how that came up and whether you were getting your inspiration from your own life or from other relationships around you?
Definitely. I mean, I think that I'm like a lot of other writers and I write what I know, and being able to put my feelings onto paper concerning my own difficult relationship with my mother was a very cathartic experience for me. And I think the most important thing that I learned, and this has been just evolving since I won last year, is that there's really no true protagonist or antagonist to this story. I mean, I know that we're focused on the child, but if you take a look from the mother's perspective, I think that there are a lot of really great insights to see there too. I was speaking to Trisha Barnaby, who plays Ina, which is the mother, and we were talking on set, and she told me that the way she interpreted it was that this mother just knows that she's completely lost her daughter, but she doesn't know how to get her back or how to move forward. And so it's these two people that are so wanting to connect with each other, but don't know how. And how do you blame either side for wanting love but not knowing how to approach it? And I think that is the main theme there, is that there's most likely always love there, but being able to connect with someone can be difficult, and it's really heart-wrenching when it's somebody that's supposed to be very close to you.
Mm-hmm. No, that's so true. And I'm sure almost everyone watching this can relate to that in some way, whether with their children or a sibling or their parents. Like, we've all have those relationships that we just want to be closer, but don't know how to do that, how to make it happen.
Yeah, absolutely. I find that it's a very specific dynamic in Filipino households, but the entire theme of it is so relatable to everybody who has had a relationship that they perhaps want more out of or don't know how to approach.
Mm-hmm, for sure. All right. I've got a question from the chat here. Well, somebody in the chat was stealing one of my upcoming questions, but they say, what advice would you give for people thinking about entering the pitch competition?
I would say pick a story that's passionate, that you're very passionate with, that you can throw yourself into. And then a big question I ask myself is, what is the audience takeaway? What do you want them to take from it? What do you think that they'll already take from it? And really work that angle. I think that for a lot of people, myself included, I was really scared to even enter the pitch competition. And I think that if anyone has any concerns or any doubts, just go for it and see what happens. Because I think that's a huge thing in our industry. A lot of people are very trepidatious to take a next step. But I mean, we're all creators and we make amazing and beautiful things out of nothing. And so just go for it and get your story out there.
That's great. And do you have any advice for the folks who are pitching today, what they should be doing or could be doing over the next year to further develop their careers? Did you learn any lessons over the past year?
Absolutely. First of all, everybody, congratulations. This was such an amazing pitch competition. I'm so happy to be watching it on my end. I think that over the next year, it's really important to use this publicity to your advantage. People know your names. And if you have other projects, or if you want to push the project you pitched today through, find the right people, pull on the resources that you have and make connections, and you can make it happen. And I think that over the next year, it'll certainly be a learning experience for you, like it is for all of us. And take those lessons in stride and really just, I mean, it sounds really cheesy, but like if you're satisfied with what you're doing, then what else matters?
For sure. Yeah. Have you seen any great films so far at the Gimli Film Festival, or are there any on your list that you're excited to see?
My top two this year was Truffle Hunters. That was on the opening night, which was really, really cool and very striking. And I'm still really upset that. Anyway, yes, don't get attached to the dogs. But also there is this wonderful film that my mentor in theater, her name is Ardith Vauxhall. She's a part of the film called The Nature of Nicholas. And it's a really interesting, like sort of horror thriller LGBTQ story about a young boy who has feelings for another boy and how he navigates through it. And there are monsters and demons, and it's like right up my alley.
That's great. That sounds really exciting. So if there's any other questions from the audience, feel free to type those in and we can get those over to Joanne. I could throw it over to any of the pitchers or to the jury members. Do you guys have any questions you want to ask Joanne? You might not see them, but if you unmute, we could still hear you.
Everyone's like, no, Joanne, get off the screen. Let's hear who won. I'm really itching to hear who won.
I know. The jury is still having it out, I hear in the chat. So I guess it's a hotly contested, yes, competition.
Wow.
Great. Well, I don't know. What else would you like to share with us? You've been telling us so much about yourself and your projects, but do you have any advice you want to give to people? I mean, I know we already talked about people who want to pitch next year and for the people who are pitching, but any other nuggets?
Oh my goodness, putting me on the spot. I don't know. I think that, I mean, my inbox is always open, so people can find me on Instagram or on Facebook, or my website. I feel like my email and phone number are just out there. So please feel free to send me a text or an email or a DM. I'm totally open for sparking discussion, or if you want to give me an opinion on how much you liked or hated my film, I'm totally open to that discussion too. And for any filmmakers who want to chat, any of the pitch competition today that want to reflect on what you did, or any insights, advices that myself as an emerging filmmaker can offer moving forward, I'm so happy to speak to anyone and everyone. And I just wanted to say thank you to Gimli Film Festival for this. Is just such an amazing opportunity. I've seen so many pitch winners and pitch competitors move forward with their film careers, and it's truly just amazing. Do I hear Ian? Is that Ian in the background?
Yes, so it looks like the jury is on their way back. I just have one final question that was put into the chat box before we throw it back. So if you could just talk about what it was like to work with and direct children.
It was certainly something I really needed to take into careful consideration, because I mean, everybody knows we have long days, and sometimes we just really have to push through and fight through exhaustion. And so working with a child actress, I really wanted to be conscious about not only the time that she spent on set and how tired she might be, but also the emotional content of the film. It's very heavy, and for her, taking on a role without being able to verbalize everything, but still showcasing all of the emotions that I needed, it was such a huge task for her. But honestly, Hannah is wonderful to direct. I hope that I took very good care of her on set. Her mother was always there and always invited to sit with us to watch all of the takes, and they had their own private room to be able to get ready for filming and also decompress afterwards. So I feel like it's something to take into careful consideration, but it's achievable with the right people for sure.
That's great. All right. Well, thank you so much, Joanne. We're so honored that we got to share your premiere of your film, and I wish you nothing but the best of luck going forward. And let us know if there's ever anything we can do at OnScreen to help you out.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right, so the jury has returned, and I would like to welcome Greg Jeffs from William F. White International, who will announce the winner of the Audience Choice Award for this year's competition.
Thank you, Callie. First of all, allow me to extend my congratulations to all of the pitch applicants, especially the 5 finalists. It takes tremendous talent to just make it this far, and I have no doubt that this pitch competition is just the beginning of your creative journeys. Of course, I have the pleasure today of announcing, first of all, the winner of the Audience Choice Award. The winner, as chosen by the online audience votes, is Laina Brown for Wallpaper Woman.
Thanks, Greg, and congratulations, Lena. And now we will welcome back Naomi Christianblatt of RBC, who will announce the 2021 $10,000 pitch competition winner.
Thank you, and thanks, Jeff, and congratulations, Lena. Now is the moment you've all been waiting for. The official winner of the 10th annual RBC $10,000 Emerging Filmmaker Pitch Competition is, I'm going to hold it for suspense because I'm nervous for you, but the winner is congratulations.
Yay. Congratulations, Elena. Maybe once these fireworks die down, I will invite you to say a quick message to everyone today.
Thank you so much. I'm so terribly excited, and thank you to On Screen. You always have a place in my heart, so this has just been awesome, and it's been such a good, great experience. And I can't wait to make this film.
All right, that's so great. Congratulations, Elena. Congratulations, Lena. And again, congratulations to everyone who pitched today. You guys were all wonderful. You all put everything out there, and it took, again, just such courage to do so. So thank you. Congratulations. You were all so wonderful. And thank you to everyone involved in putting on this year's RBC $10,000 Emerging Filmmaker Pitch Competition. I'm hoping that's the last time I have to say the entire title because it's a mouthful. And so that also includes the OSM team. Thank you to Mariam and William. They were working tirelessly behind the scenes to make sure everything was moving forward between the pre-jury and the jury and the speaking notes and getting everything organized. So thank you, thank you. And thank you to the Gimli Film Festival team and to the tech team from Collective Broadcast. They did such a great job in making sure we were all at the right place at the right time today. And thank you to our pre-selection jury of Joyce Delaronde, Karen Ramoto, and Tani Mickey. And of course, to our jurors that were here today with us, Miranda Morose, Jocelyn Mitchell, and Ian Bala. And a big heartfelt thank you to our event sponsors, RBC, William F. White International, the National Screen Institute, and the Winnipeg Film Group. Be sure to stick around because up next on the Gimli Film Festival live stream is the 10-year RBC Pitch Retrospective, which will showcase all previous winners of the RBC $10,000 Emerging Filmmaker Pitch Competition. Thought I could almost get away with it. The screening starts right here on the GFF homepage at 3 p.m. Central, and it will include a post-screening Q&A with the pitch-winning filmmakers from the past 10 years. Thank you all so much for tuning in to the Gimli Film Festival Pitch Competition, and we hope to see you again next year. We hope it'll be in person. Last year was a bit of a hybrid where all of the people you can see on the screen were in the same room. Now we're all in our own homes, so we hope that we'll be able to see you at the Gimli Theater next year. All right, enjoy the rest of your afternoon and happy Gimli Film Festival.
It's time to discuss our strengths, our achievements,
and our goals. We want you to hear our voices.
Because it's time to tell our story.
It's not easy to be an artist. In the last few years, something has definitely shifted.
RBC has been an amazing supporter, giving a lot of different opportunities for women, and we see the difference.
I don't know that we have to rely on anyone else to tell stories for us anymore.